Self-control is the master key to achievement, the silent force behind every act of greatness, and the quality that sets true leaders apart from the crowd. It's not as glamorous as ambition or as celebrated as genius, but it is absolutely essential to success. Without self-control, even the brightest dreams are dashed by distraction, impulse, and regret. With it, the most ordinary individual can shape their destiny, overcome any obstacle, and rise above circumstances that would defeat most people. When I speak of self-control, I don't mean simply holding back or repressing your desires. True self-control is a conscious, powerful, steady hand on the wheel of your own mind. It is the ability to guide your thoughts, to shape your emotions, and to direct your actions toward a purpose you have chosen. It's the art of saying yes to what truly matters and no to the temptations that would pull you off course. Every act of self-mastery, no matter how small, is a victory over chaos, a step toward becoming the person you intend to be. Early in my life, I watched men and women who possessed all the talents for success but fell short because they lacked this single trait. They started strong, but at the first sign of difficulty, they wavered. They were clever, but let anger, jealousy, or impatience rule their decisions. Their potential was real, but it was never fully realized. I learned that it is not the storms outside that defeat you, it's the tempests within, left unchecked, that truly hold us back. Developing self-control begins with a decision. It's a commitment to govern yourself not out of fear, but out of respect for your own vision and values. It starts in the mind. Every thought you allow to linger, every feeling you choose to nurture, shapes the actions you take. If you wish to control your destiny, you must first learn to control your mind. This does not mean denying your emotions or pretending to be unmoved by life's challenges. It means choosing which emotions will drive you and which you will set aside. Self-control is most needed when life is most difficult. Anyone can remain calm and focused when things are easy, when the path is smooth. But greatness is forged in adversity. The discipline to pause before you speak, to think before you act, to resist the lure of instant pleasure for the sake of lasting fulfillment, these are the habits that build empires and legacies. Every time you exercise self-control, you strengthen the muscles of your will, making it easier to hold steady the next time a storm rolls in. Let me be clear, self-control is not about becoming rigid or joyless. It is about freedom, the freedom to choose your response, to create your own story, to rise above habits and impulses that no longer serve you. It is the foundation of all other virtues. Without it, ambition becomes reckless, creativity becomes chaos, and even love can turn destructive. With self-control, you can harness every talent, every opportunity, every moment for good. So today, begin to watch your thoughts. Notice the urges that try to pull you off course. Practice the pausey, brief moment of reflection between impulse and action. Ask yourself, will this choice bring me closer to my purpose or take me further away? In that space, you reclaim your power. In that space, you become the master of your fate. As we continue, I will show you how to build self-control into a habit so strong it becomes your greatest ally. For now, remember, the journey to greatness is walked one disciplined step at a time. Developing self-control is not a matter of suppressing who you are, but of discovering how powerful you can become when you are fully in command of yourself. Too often, people confuse self-control with self-denial, as if discipline were a punishment or a burden. But in truth, self-control is the art of self-respect. It is the deliberate choice to give yourself every advantage by mastering your thoughts, your words, and your actions. In that mastery lies the freedom to pursue your highest goals without being sabotaged by your own habits or fleeting desires. Let's be honest, the greatest battles we fight are not with the world, but within ourselves. Every day, you stand at a crossroads between what is easy and what is right, between comfort and growth, between fleeting pleasure and lasting fulfillment. Most people drift along, letting impulses and moods set the direction of their lives. But those who accomplish great things understand that the moment of decision, the moment you choose your response, rather than react automatically, is the birthplace of all achievement. Self-control does not mean living without emotion. On the contrary, it means learning to harness your emotions as a source of energy and direction. Anger, fear, even doubt, these are natural, and they have their place. But if you let them steer the ship, you'll be tossed by every wave. The person who practices self-control feels these emotions, acknowledges them, but does not let them dictate the course. Instead, you learn to pause, reflect, and respond with intention. I remember a time when I faced a series of setbacks in my work. Disappointment and frustration pressed in from every side. The temptation to lash out, to blame, to abandon my purpose was strong. But I had learned the value of the pause. I took time to breathe, to step back, to ask myself what outcome I truly wanted. That moment of reflection became a turning point. Instead of adding chaos to chaos, I found clarity. My next action was not a reaction, but a choice. That choice led to growth, to new opportunities, and to the respect of those around me. The real test of self-control is not when everything is going your way, but when nothing is. Anyone can keep their composure when life is smooth. But the person who holds steady in the face of provocation, who refuses to be drawn into negativity or drama, who responds with calm and purpose, this is the person who gains the confidence of others, who becomes a source of stability in uncertain times. Self-control is also the foundation of self-confidence. Each time you resist a temptation, each time you choose discipline over impulse, you build trust in yourself. You prove again and again that you are capable of guiding your own life. That trust is a powerful asset, one that cannot be bought or faked. Others may see only the results of a person who seems composed, reliable, and strong. But you will know the true source, the quiet victories won in the mind, the steady resolve that grows with every disciplined choice. So as you move through your day, notice the moments that test your self-control. Welcome them as opportunities to practice, to grow, to prove to yourself that you are more powerful than your circumstances. With every small act of self-mastery, you take another step toward the life you truly desire. Remember, greatness is not an accident. It is the sum of 1,000 choices, each one shaped by the force of self-control. Self-control, though often viewed as a solitary struggle, is actually a gateway to deeper, richer relationships and greater influence in every area of your life. When you master yourself, you become a source of strength for others. You inspire confidence, earn trust, and create an atmosphere where people feel safe to bring their best. This is no small advantage. In business, in family, in leadership, people are drawn to those who are steady, measured, and reliable. Consider how many misunderstandings, conflicts, and broken opportunities are caused by a moment's loss of temper, a careless word, or a rash decision. A single lapse can undo months, even years, of progress. But the person who practices self-control can diffuse tension, redirect conversations, and guide outcomes with quiet authority. This does not mean you suppress your truth or become passive. It means you choose the right time, the right words, and the right approach, even when emotions run high. I remember once working with a business partner who was quick to anger, brilliant but unpredictable. Meetings were charged with tension, and progress was often stalled by arguments that solved nothing. One day, during a particularly heated discussion, I decided not to react to his frustration. Instead, I listened, let him vent, and responded calmly and clearly when he was done. The dynamic shifted instantly. The conversation became productive, solutions emerged, and respect grew on both sides. In that moment, self-control was not weakness, it was leadership. It's important to realize that self-control is a habit, built over time through conscious effort. You don't develop it by force of will alone, but by creating an environment that supports your best choices. This means paying attention to your routines, the people you spend time with, and the influences you allow into your mind. Just as you wouldn't expect to grow stronger physically without regular exercise, you can't expect to master your impulses without regular practice. Start with small things. Pause before responding to criticism. Take a deep breath when plans go awry. Remind yourself of your larger goals before making decisions in the heat of the moment. Each time you choose the higher road, you reinforce the pathway in your mind. Over time, this becomes second nature. Self-control is not about denying pleasure or living a life of constant restraint. On the contrary, it allows you to enjoy life more fully, because you are not at the mercy of every fleeting urge. You gain the freedom to pursue what truly matters: your values, your dreams, your purpose, without being distracted or derailed by outside forces. And remember, your example has a powerful ripple effect. Those around you will take note, consciously or not, of your composure, your discipline, your ability to respond rather than react. They will look to you in times of uncertainty. They will trust your judgment. Over time, you become not just a master of yourself, but a leader among others. So embrace each day as a new opportunity to practice self-control. Treat every challenge as a chance to prove your strength not just to the world, but to yourself. With each victory, you build the character that endures long after circumstances have changed. That is the quiet, enduring power of self-control, the foundation upon which true greatness is built. The more you practice self-control, the more you realize it is not a limitation, but a path to genuine freedom. So many people think freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you feel like it. But real freedom is the ability to choose wisely, to act in harmony with your values and long-term goals, no matter what temptations or pressures arise. True self-control isn't about denying yourself pleasure or living in rigid restraint. It's about having the strength to delay gratification, to say no to the things that rob you of your future, and yes to the choices that serve your purpose. Every day, life will test your resolve. Temptations appear in 1,000 disguises, distractions, easy comforts, shortcuts that promise quick rewards but cost you more in the end. The person without self-control is at the mercy of these temptations, tossed from one mood or urge to the next, never quite able to gain traction or build momentum. But with self-control, you become the architect of your destiny. You choose your path and you walk it with intention. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen self-control is to keep your vision front and center. Remind yourself often of what you truly want, whether it's health, success, strong relationships, or personal growth. Write it down, visualize it, speak it aloud. When the allure of a shortcut arises, ask yourself, does this choice move me closer to my vision or further away? That moment of reflection is your chance to reclaim power over your future. Let me share a story. There was a man I once knew who dreamed of building his own business. He was talented, but like so many, struggled with the distractions of daily life. Social invitations, television, endless small tasks each seemed harmless alone, but together they drained his time and energy. The turning point came when he committed to one simple act of self-control, dedicating the first hour of each day to his most important goal. No emails, no distractions, just focused effort. Over months, that single discipline changed his life. The business took shape, his confidence soared, and the small sacrifices became sources of pride rather than regret. Self-control is not about grand gestures, but about the quiet, consistent choices that over time define your life. It's found in the decision to walk past an argument rather than engage, to stick to your plan when others waver, to persist in your purpose when circumstances tempt you to quit. With every act of discipline, you become stronger, more resilient, and more capable of turning setbacks into triumphs. Remember, too, that self-control grows best in an environment of support. Seek out people who share your values, who encourage your best efforts, who hold you accountable not through criticism, but through belief in your potential. Create routines that make good choices easier. Remove temptations from your environment, and fill your days with habits that nourish your mind and spirit. Most of all, forgive yourself when you slip. No one is perfect. The goal is not to never falter, but to rise again each time you do, wiser and more determined. With each renewed effort, your capacity for self-mastery deepens. So keep choosing the higher path, one moment at a time. The rewards of self-control, peace of mind, confidence, achievement, and real freedom are waiting for those who persist. Make this discipline your ally, and watch as your life transforms, one choice at a time. There's a quiet power in self-control that's often overlooked in our fast-paced world. Today's culture celebrates instant gratification, quick results, immediate comfort, fast success. Yet the people who leave a mark, the ones who build legacies and shape history, are rarely those who chase every passing urge. They are the ones who pause, reflect, and make deliberate choices again and again, even when no one is watching. Think for a moment about the athletes who train for years, rising before dawn, pushing past fatigue and discomfort for the sake of a goal that may be years away. Their victories are rarely the result of one dramatic effort, but of thousands of disciplined decisions made in private. The same is true for anyone who masters their craft, builds a business, or nurtures a lasting relationship. The world sees the highlight reel, but greatness is made in the quiet hours, in the moments when self-control prevails over impulse. Self-control is the foundation of all achievement. It's what enables you to say no to distractions so you can say yes to your calling. Every time you turn away from an easy comfort, be it procrastination, gossip, unnecessary spending, or a fleeting pleasure, you send yourself a message. My purpose matters more than my momentary craving. Over time, this message becomes your new reality, strengthening your sense of identity and belief in yourself. Of course, the road isn't always smooth. There will be days when old habits try to reclaim you, when doubts creep in, when discipline feels more like a burden than a gift. It's in these moments that self-compassion becomes part of your discipline. Remember, self-control is not about punishing yourself for being human. It's about giving yourself the greatest chance at fulfillment. When you stumble, don't use it as evidence that you're weak or unworthy. Instead, see it as another opportunity to practice resilience, to get up, and to recommit to your vision. Let me offer you this truth. Self-control brings a deep and lasting sense of peace. You stop living at the mercy of your moods or the opinions of others. You know deep down that you are capable of steering your life. This confidence becomes visible to those around you. It's the reason people trust your judgment, seek your guidance, and want to partner with you. Your reliability becomes your reputation. There's another reward too. Joy. Yes, joy. The joy of knowing you're living on purpose, moving steadily toward your goals, free from the regrets that come from wasted time or squandered opportunity. The joy of looking back on a day, a week, or a lifetime and knowing you chose what mattered most, even when it was hard. So, as you continue to build self-control into your daily life, celebrate the small wins. Each decision to rise above impulse is a building block for the life you truly want. The journey is not about perfection, but about progress. Every moment of discipline is a gift to your future self, a sign that you are indeed the master of your fate. As self-control becomes a habit, you'll start to notice an inner strength developing, a quiet assurance that you can meet whatever life brings. Where once you might have felt overwhelmed or pulled in too many directions, now you find clarity and purpose. Each decision, however small, becomes a reflection of your values and your commitment to growth. You begin to experience a profound sense of freedom, not the freedom to do anything at a whim, but the deeper freedom to choose wisely and live with intention. Self-control gives you the power to shape your environment rather than be shaped by it. You find yourself less vulnerable to peer pressure, advertising, or the shifting moods of others. Instead of reacting to every challenge or setback, you learn to pause, assess, and respond in a way that aligns with your highest goals. This ability to respond rather than react is the true mark of maturity and leadership. You'll also discover that self-control unlocks new levels of creativity and problem-solving. When your mind is not scattered by every impulse or distraction, you can focus deeply, think clearly, and work persistently toward meaningful results. Great works of art, science, and business are rarely born from chaos. They come from disciplined minds, committed hearts, and a willingness to persevere when the path gets steep. It's important to understand that building self-control is not a solitary endeavor. The people you surround yourself with play a powerful role in your progress. Seek out relationships that uplift you, challenge you, and hold you accountable. Find mentors who embody the discipline you admire, and spend time with peers who share your values. Let their examples inspire you, and let your own discipline be a light for them. Let's not overlook the power of routine. The more you automate positive habits, the less energy you waste on resisting temptation. Structure your days in a way that supports your goals. Set aside time for reflection. Plan your work in advance. Create rituals that signal it's time to focus or rest. Each structure you put in place frees up your willpower for the moments when it's truly needed. There will still be times when your self-control is tested. Life is unpredictable, and the unexpected can rattle even the strongest resolve. In these moments, return to your purpose. Remember why you started this journey. Anchor yourself in your vision of who you want to become, and trust that every act of discipline, no matter how small, is moving you closer to that reality. Self-control is not about deprivation, it's about alignment. Alignment between your thoughts, your actions, and your values. When these are in harmony, you experience a sense of peace that no outside force can disturb. You become resilient in the face of criticism, immune to the distractions that derail others, and unwavering when the world tries to pull you off course. In the end, self-control is the foundation for every other success. It's the discipline that allows you to finish what you start, to keep your word, to overcome bad habits, and to rise above the circumstances that limit so many. With each passing day, as you choose the higher path, you'll find that your sense of possibility expands. The life you once dreamed of begins to take shape one disciplined decision at a time. As you continue to strengthen your self-control, you'll notice how it influences every area of your life. Not only does it help you resist temptation and stay focused on your goals, but it also improves your relationships, your reputation, and your sense of personal peace. People are drawn to those who are steady, reliable, and intentional because in a world of uncertainty, consistency is a rare and valuable trait. Think for a moment about the trust that builds between colleagues, friends, or family members when promises are kept, tempers are managed, and words are chosen with care. Self-control is the foundation of this trust. It's the reason your team looks to you in times of stress. It's why people confide in you, why opportunities find you, and why your influence grows. You become someone others can depend on, not because you never face challenges, but because you handle those challenges with grace and resolve. Consider, too, the impact on your physical health. When you develop discipline in one area, such as exercise, nutrition, or rest, you often find it easier to carry that strength into other areas. Self-control becomes a kind of positive contagion. The more you exercise it, the more it grows, and the easier it is to make choices that serve your long-term well-being. Let's be clear. No one is born with perfect discipline. Every master of self-control was once a beginner who failed, learned, and tried again. The difference is persistence. Each time you resist an unhealthy habit, each time you stick to your plan despite distractions, you send a signal to your subconscious, I am in charge. Over time, these signals accumulate, and what once felt difficult becomes your new standard. Don't be discouraged by setbacks. The road to self-mastery is never linear. There will be days when old habits tempt you, when emotions threaten to override your better judgment, when you wonder if the effort is worth it. In these moments, remember that every champion, every leader, every person of influence has walked the same path. What matters is not how many times you stumble, but how often you rise. Take pride in the small victories. Each moment of self-control is a brick in the foundation of your future. Celebrate them. Use them as motivation to keep going, and always keep your vision in sight. Remind yourself daily why self-control matters to you, what it makes possible, how it sets you apart, and what kind of life it allows you to build. Share your progress with others. Inspire those around you, not by preaching, but by your example. When people see the changes in youth, the calm in your responses, the clarity in your choices, the results in your life, they'll want to know your secret. Tell them it's self-control, patiently built, fiercely protected, and renewed every day. In a world that glorifies quick fixes and shortcuts, dare to be different. Choose discipline, choose focus, choose the higher path, even when it's hard. The rewards respect, peace of mind, true achievement are waiting for those who persist. As you continue the journey of self-mastery, you will come to realize that self-control is much more than a tool for achieving goals. It is the bedrock of your character. Every act of discipline becomes a statement about who you are and what you value. Over time, these choices form the habits, routines, and mindset that define your life. It is not a single decision that shapes your destiny, but the accumulation of small, conscious acts day after day, year after year. Let's talk about the impact this has on your confidence. Every time you honor your word to yourself, you reinforce your sense of integrity. You begin to trust your own judgment, to believe in your capacity to handle whatever comes your way. This self-trust radiates outward, affecting the way others see you. People sense when someone has authority over their own impulses. They see it in the way you carry yourself, the steadiness of your decisions, and the way you respond under pressure. This doesn't mean you'll never feel temptation or struggle with doubt. You are human, and the forces that challenge your self-control are universal. What sets you apart is your willingness to pause, to reflect, and to choose in alignment with your deepest values. That pause is where your power lives. It's where you turn a fleeting urge into a lasting commitment, a moment of weakness into a testament of strength. Self control also gives you the gift of perspective. You learn to step back from the heat of the moment and ask, will this matter tomorrow, next year, in the story of my life? Is this a choice I'll be proud of? That higher vantage point helps you act with wisdom, not just emotion. It allows you to move through conflict without regret, to manage stress without self-destruction, and to make decisions that honor both your goals and your relationships. In a world full of noise and distraction, the disciplined mind is a rare treasure. Those who cultivate it find doors opening where others see only walls. Opportunities arise, not by accident, but because discipline clears a path. You begin to see patterns others miss, to seize chances others hesitate to take, to build a life others only dream of. Let's not pretend this is always easy. You will be tested. You will face moments when giving in feels so much easier than holding steady. But each time you choose self-control, you plant a flag for your future. You prove to yourself and to the world that you are a person of substance, not just intention. As you grow in discipline, you become a resource for others. Friends, family, colleagues, they turn to you for guidance, for reassurance, for an example of what's possible when you refuse to be ruled by circumstance. Your life becomes a model, your choices a guidepost, your character a beacon. So continue building this foundation, brick by brick. The rewards piece, achievement, respect, and a legacy of strength are worth every effort. Make self-control your daily companion, and you will find that nothing is beyond your reach. As your self-control matures, you start to experience a deeper kind of fulfillment tone that is not easily shaken by circumstance or the opinions of others. You become less reactive and more proactive, choosing your responses instead of being driven by fleeting emotions or outside pressures. This quiet power is one of the greatest rewards self-control has to offer. You'll notice that the victories you win over yourself begin to overshadow any competition you once imagined with the outside world. The need to prove yourself, to impress, or to chase approval diminishes. In its place grows a calm confidence that says, I know who I am. I trust myself to act in alignment with my purpose. This is the inner peace so many seek and so few find, not through external achievement, but through daily acts of self-mastery. One of the most significant shifts is the way you handle adversity. Life will never be free of challenges, but your relationship to those challenges transforms. Instead of seeing problems as threats, you see them as opportunities to practice resilience. A setback no longer means defeat. It becomes a lesson, a prompt to adjust your approach, or a chance to test your resolve. Over time, setbacks lose their power to derail your progress. You move through them with grace, learning, growing, and remaining committed to your path. Self-control also sharpens your sense of purpose. As you shed the distractions and habits that no longer serve you, your goals become clearer and your motivation more focused. You find it easier to distinguish between what is urgent and what is important, between what serves your growth and what merely fills your time. This clarity allows you to pour your energy into what matters most, multiplying your results while conserving your resources. It is important to remember that self-control is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There will always be new temptations, fresh challenges, and unexpected detours. But now you face them with a toolkit of experience, habits built, lessons learned, and victories accumulated. Each day becomes another opportunity to strengthen your discipline, to reinforce your identity, and to move a step closer to your highest potential. Never underestimate the influence you have on others simply by living with self-control. Children watch how you handle frustration. Colleagues notice your consistency under pressure. Friends seek your advice because they trust your judgment. Your example can lift others up, offering proof that a disciplined, purposeful life is not only possible, but profoundly rewarding. As you move forward, keep celebrating your progress. Acknowledge the moments when you chose discipline over impulse, when you stayed true to your values in the face of temptation, when you took the harder but better path. These are the moments that build your legacy, brick by brick, day by day. The greatest victories are always the victories over self. As you practice self-control, you unlock a level of freedom, peace, and accomplishment that no outside force can ever grant or take away. That is the quiet triumph of the disciplined mind, the true mark of a life well lived. As we reach the final steps of this journey, remember, self-control is the foundation upon which every lasting achievement is built. The world is filled with talent, ambition, and opportunity, but without the discipline to direct these forces, even the greatest potential is squandered. Self-control transforms good intentions into concrete results. It turns fleeting desires into purposeful action, and ordinary people into extraordinary leaders. There will always be moments when temptation calls, when the easier path seems inviting, or when emotions threaten to sweep you off course. But those moments are your proving ground. Each time you pause, reflect, and choose in line with your highest purpose, you strengthen the muscle of self-mastery. This discipline does not make you rigid, it makes you powerful, adaptable, and free. Remember, self-control is not the enemy of joy, it is the architect of true happiness. The ability to govern yourself, to say yes to what matters and no to what does not, is the greatest freedom you will ever know. With it, you build trust in yourself, earn the trust of others, and open the doors to opportunities that few ever see. You will discover that the peace you seek, the confidence you admire in others, and the satisfaction of a job well done are all within your grasp, one choice at a time. Do not be discouraged by setbacks. Every act of discipline, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you desire. Celebrate your victories, learn from your stumbles, and remember that every day offers a new chance to practice this vital skill. As you move forward, make self-control your daily companion. Use it to shape your habits, to guard your time, to nurture your relationships, and to keep your vision bright even in the darkest moments. Let your example inspire those around you to aim higher, to act with purpose, and to never settle for less than their best. This is your legacy, the mark of a person who mastered themselves, who turned dreams into reality, and who proved that with discipline and intention, anything is possible. The journey does not end here. With every disciplined step, you write the next chapter of your success story. So rise each day with resolve, lead with self-control, and claim the life that only you can build.